Previously on the all-new adventures of the Doctor Who Book Club podcast.
One range that we haven't read any from yet.
Oh, okay.
Iris Wildtime.
Ah, right.
The first collection released by Obverse.
Yeah.
And it's called Iris Wildtime and the Celestial Omnibus. It's edited by Paul Mars and Stuart Douglas.
Yeah.
It features a fantastic cover by June Hudson.
Oh, I just looked at it now. Yes.
Introduction by Katie Manning.
Yeah.
And it was first published in 2009 in hardcover, but it is also available on Obverse's website as an ebook, and it's a short story collection.
Oh, that's really, really cool.
And now our story continues.
Welcome, everyone, to the all-new adventures of the Doctor Who Book Club podcast. This is Matt in Minnesota.
Chris in South London. How's it going, Matt?
Well, we just had a surprise blizzard last night. We're getting internet back 6 hours later than planned, but apart from that, it's going.
Yes.
Nothing's going to stop the 22 from Putney Common from arriving.
No, indeed.
Even if it's a little late.
Yes, yes.
How are you doing, Chuck?
I'm doing okay, yeah. I had thought that this would be the first podcast of the year that we record entirely in light. But like the daylight is starting to fade now. But that's good. Things are good.
How's the vegetable situation these days?
How is the vegetable situation? Yes, there are still, tomatoes and stuff are now on shelves. Some shelves do have things saying, please only take one of each, and leaving it unspecified as to whether they mean individuals. Though Lauren came back with a box of things that the supermarket were saying was on the turn, but will sell you for £2. And that had some tomatoes in. Some little cherry tomatoes, but so we kind of like, oh, okay.
Well, that's good. Got to start small and...
Yes, yeah. So it's a bit of an improvement, I guess, maybe. It's been a very interesting month in March for the BBC, which is actually kind of like related to Doctor Who, given that the BBC kind of is responsible-ish for bits of Doctor Who. Disney Plus is as well, but have you heard about the fight between the footballers and the BBC?
Oh, yes. The comments from Gary
Lineker.
Yeah.
Yes. It seems as if quite probably they might change how the chairman, or the chairship, rather, of the BBC is appointed and some of the other things if there is a new government after the next election.
Anything to avoid future Michael Grade situations I would be in favor of.
Yes. Well, certainly I would not want a Michael Grade situation. Maybe not have the situation that is has been ongoing. That would be nice for that to not happen as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Touch wood, at the moment, I can't quite see how the BBC will manage to cancel Doctor Who. I think it would be more likely it would be Disney Plus sort of saying, oh, we're not getting the audience that we're wanting. But even then, I think Doctor Who feels safe. I'm not entirely sure that the BBC is.
And we've also heard rumors about a potential unit-related spin-off series with Gemma Redgrave, so that's very exciting.
Yes.
One of hopefully many. I really would like an Ace spin-off in the style of Sarah Jane Adventures, perhaps.
Yeah. And also as well, we have like the companions all meeting regularly in a kind of like a church hall or wherever that was. So,
true.
Yeah. And we also need to be told the tale of how Mel got back to Earth.
Yes, and how she traveled in time.
Yes.
Well, of course, you could look at the Blu-ray trailer and say the Seventh Doctor picked her up on the set of a game show.
Yeah.
In the future, and perhaps that's how, but...
Perhaps.
So speaking of Doctor Who, we have some Doctor Who book news.
We do.
Quite a lengthy list.
Yes.
The most that has been announced that in the history of this podcast, perhaps.
Yes, I think so, yeah.
We'll maybe take these in turn and see how this goes, but
yes.
Thanks for helping out.
Yes.
So we have maybe we'll start with some new audiobooks that are coming. So on April 20th of this year, we have The Amazing World of Doctor Who, which is based on the 1976 book of the same name, and it's read by Jeffrey Beavers, Louise Jameson, and Dan Starkey. It features 6 short stories, 2 stories with multicast voices and sound design, and mini featurettes on the Dalek, Cybermen, and the TARDIS.
Very exciting. Then on June the 1st, we have The Making of Doctor Who, read by John Culshaw, Dan Sarkey, Louise Jameson, Katie Manning, Jeffrey Beavers, and Maureen O'Brien. And this is going to include material from both the Piccolo and Target versions. So it will be covering the making of both the Two Devils and Robot. And that should be released around June the 1st, 2023.
Kind of cool that they're expanding into nonfiction in terms of their adaptations.
Well, it's just basically people just reading, isn't it, really?
Yeah, sure. Last month, on March 16th, we had a Big Finish released an Iris Wildtime related book.
Yes.
Called Iris Wildtime and Friends, Wildtime Beyond, which is a downloadable audiobook of Paul Mars's 2012 novel of the same name, read by Katie Manning.
Yeah.
The novel itself is also still available from snowbooks.com, but it's cool that Big Finish is releasing an audio version of it.
Yeah, it's very cool. And staying with Big Finish, they've announced a second Doctor Who audiobook by Matthew Waterhouse, Prisoners of London, which will be released in July 2023. And this features the Doctor, Adric, Nyssa, and Tegan. Presumably, this is the 5th Doctor, rather than this kind of strange bit of Logopolis that we never thought. And they've landed in London, 1982, but not is all as it seems.
Then jumping to October 5th, 2023, we've heard that there's going to be an audiobook featuring the 10th Doctor called The Lagoon Monsters, and the reader is to be announced for that title. Yeah,
we don't know the crew, whether it's the 10th Doctor on his own or what have you. And speaking of the 10th, our dear old friend Dave Rudden is back in the world of Doctor Who. He will be publishing, or have published on his behalf, a 10th Doctor and Donna adventure on October 26th of this year. And we'll have an Irish version of the Spice Girls called the Honeybloods. And this is one of 5 new Decades books, each covering a different decade. So you have the 60s by Jacqueline Rayner, the 70s by Natasha Suri. I don't think I know Natasha Suri. That's not the name.
I think she's a new name.
Yeah. 80s is by Mark Griffiths, featuring the 4th Doctor and a Romana, I assume the 2nd. And the 90s is Dave Rudden, as said. The 10th is Callan Ballion, maybe? That might be how you pronounce it. I'm sorry.
Or Kaelin, maybe?
Kaelin, yeah, maybe. Yes, that would make more sense. And that would feature the 9th Doctor and Rose. And doesn't seem to be a 2010s book.
Late breaking news.
Oh.
There's a 6th book that has started showing up on Amazon UK.
Right.
That has 2010s listed next to it. So
Ooh.
Maybe they heard the fan outrage saying, why only give us 5 books for the 60th instead of 6?
Yes.
But apparently there will now also be a book set in is it the Naughties?
No, the Wanties.
The Wanties, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Well, because you'd have thought if there was a decade they would skip, it would be the 90s.
Yeah.
Given there wasn't an awful lot of televised Doctor Who.
Or there would be the entry for Paul McGann, perhaps. But
yes, you'd have thought, rather than let's shoehorn David Tennant into here. But hey-ho. So that's those.
Very cool.
Yes, very cool.
Like a new mini range almost.
Yes.
We've also heard from Tell Us Publishing that they're going to be releasing a large format, full-color, hardback coffee table art book called The Illustrated Journey, offering expanded views of vistas and locations from the very first story onward. So this will be available later in 2023, likely around the holidays.
Yeah. And we've still got more. So there's going to be an anthology coming out in hardcover called The 10th Doctor Christmas Collection, featuring 10 tales, including an exclusive 14th Doctor story. I guess the artist doesn't really need to change too much. I've been drawing the 10th Doctor. Yep, slightly different suit.
But wait, listener, there's more, because
yes.
on March 20th, Doomsday was announced. So
yes.
This is a multimedia event. And if you thought, hey, didn't we just have one featuring an assassin named Brian the Ood? Yes. And now we have a new one featuring another assassin named Doom.
Yes.
So I'm not sure why Doctor Who is focusing on assassins as central characters, but they bring the drama, I guess.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be several books and audios announced for that, including, it looks like Titan Comics part of the multimedia event will be a 64-page hardcover book, which is now releasing on October 17th, written by Jodie Hauser, and Roberta Ingranata will be doing the artwork.
Cool.
And then 4 to Doomsday is the BBC audio.
I see what they did there.
And all of this, not including the 5 Target novels that have already been announced that we've covered.
Yeah. Have we skipped one?
Did we?
Have we skipped the 2024 annual?
Oh, yeah, there's another one too.
Yes. Yeah, the 2024 annual is due out on September the 7th of this year and is thought to include an exclusive 14th Doctor story.
So 2 14th Doctor exclusive stories coming.
Yes.
Which, if he ends up being this Mayfly Doctor, sort of like, burst and then he's gone.
Yeah.
Having these additional little tidbits, in addition to the comic that's been running in Doctor Who magazine, it's great that we're getting some expanded media featuring his take on the character.
I think I know David Tennant's take on the character.
Well, it could be different now that he has the experiences and memories of the 11th, 12th, and 13th Doctors as well.
Yeah.
If he plays it exactly the same as he did the 10th, I would be a little disappointed, I think. So I'm hoping that he has a slightly new characterization, but judging by his first words that he's spoken, perhaps not.
Yeah.
And then we also have 2 more crossover classics coming this summer as well. Josephine and the Argonauts by Paul Mars and Rebellion on Treasure Island by Bali Ray. So
cool.
So much book stuff.
Yes. So much. I mean, sometimes we can go like several months without any book news and then suddenly that happens.
Yeah. Maybe it's a change in regime, at the top that is putting more of an emphasis on expanded media again. Who can say?
Yeah. Well, also, because we're getting closer to the 60th, they're having to let the Amazons of this world and your independent bookstores, which pay our taxes and will actually welcome your money very much, they're all needing to know. So, yeah.
So, Chris, what do you have for show and tell this month?
Right. I have book news, folks. There is a book that will be published soon. I don't have a date for it, but I think it's Alatrix Publishing. And it is called Shadow of the Gallifreyan, and I have 4 stories in it.
Nice.
The concept of the book is to have stories relating to every TV story, and its characters processing the impact that the Doctor has had on their lives. Apparently including the horror of Fang Rock and the Edge of Destruction.
I suppose Edge of Destruction, you could maybe focus on the TARDIS itself.
Possibly, yes.
Horror of Fang Rock from the perspective of some of the fish.
The lighthouse? Maybe there's a sentient being in the lighthouse, or the lighthouse is a sentient being. So there's a wonderful array of authors. I don't know the price point. I don't know where one will be buying it from. By the time this episode comes out, hopefully we will know, and I will be putting these things into Twitter and stuff and everything, so you should all get it. I'm sure we will mention this again. And it is raising money for charity, and specifically it's raising money for Shelter, which is a cause that's very dear to my heart. It's one of the leading housing charities in the UK, and my brother works for them, so I know, not from first hand, but from a pretty informed and close second hand, like the fantastic work they do. And with all of the various cost of living crises and energy price hikes, etc., they need all the help they can get.
Do you want to reveal which stories you wrote for?
Yes! So my TV story sequels are, in no particular order, The Highlanders, Black Orchid, The Awakening, and Paradise Towers.
Ah,
Having said in no particular order, that was in broadcast order. So,
very
yes.
cool. So is it that it has to be a sequel, or can some of them be prequels as well?
Has to be so that you see the impact of the Doctor's life
Ah,
or the Doctor on their lives.
okay.
It can be seconds after the story ended. It can be set years after. And the stories can be told in various different ways. One of mine is told in the form of a letter, and I've got a kind of like an author's copy, and I can see that other stories are also told in forms of letters. There are some very creative takes. I particularly enjoyed the sequel to The Romans, but if you were going to have something that was slightly tongue-in-cheek.
That would be one of the stories for it.
Yes. Yeah, it's been great fun. I have been sitting on this for, I think, a year. I wrote my stories, I think, around about Christmas 2021.
Oh, wow.
So I am delighted to finally say, yeah, this is what I did. I don't think I've ever actually alluded to it on the show.
That's fantastic. And will be the second charity anthology that you've written for, too.
Technically, it's the third, but it's the second to be published.
Oh. Interesting.
I have a lost Colin Baker story.
Huh.
But anyway, that's a tale for another time.
Well, that's fantastic. So it's called Shadow of the Gallifreyan.
Shadow of the Gallifreyan. And it's volume 1.
And it's out sometime in the next month or two.
Yeah, so volume 1 contains a mixture of stories from both the kind of classic and modern era, and I think volume 2 will also contain some of those, but certainly all of mine have got into volume 1. The book is also structured in history order, if you see what I mean.
Like chronologically, sort of.
Yeah, so potentially an earthly child first, but just because that's set in caveman times, etc., and just going all the way through. So there are some where I kind of go, really? Is this set at this point in time? Okay, I suppose so.
Got a cross-reference with Lance Parkin's A History.
Yes, yeah. I don't know how it's been structured, but it's been structured really lovely, and it's also just such a pleasure to be in amongst all these great authors. And so I strongly recommend that you go and have a read when it is available.
Yeah, and we shall let you know.
Yes, who knows? You may already know by the time this comes out.
Fantastic.
Cool. Right. How about you, Matt?
So last night during the blizzard, I watched a movie.
Okay.
A documentary called Doctor Who Am I, which is by Vanessa Ewell and Matthew Jacobs, writer of the TV movie. It was released on Blu-ray in the UK back in late November of last year, but was just released for purchase on streaming services like iTunes in the United States a few weeks ago. And it's a brilliant documentary. It includes interviews with Daphne Ashbrook, Nicholas Briggs, Paul McGann, and Eric Roberts. Friend of the show, Sean Lyon, the founder of Gallifrey 1, also appears, and there's quite a bit of footage shot at Gallifrey, and it was just fantastic to see the hotel pre-remodel with the old lobby and the old carpeting and stuff too. My one, and I wouldn't even call it a complaint, but I wish it focused even more on the fans. I mean, it's really, the writer's journey, Matthew Jacobs, as he works through how the TV movie was received and how it's been reevaluated or reappraised over the years. But the parts in particular focusing on fans and just fan reactions to Doctor Who and all the cosplay on display and kind of the convention experience, in my mind, there's still a gap out there for a Trekkies-like movie, maybe called Whovians or something, but which I know isn't Doctor Who fan, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe it would have an alternate title for the UK.
Yeah, or somebody in Derby used the term Hoosters. No.
I prefer Whovian over that.
Yes, I prefer Whovian. I don't really like either.
It's like a Trekkie versus Trekker sort of debate. But yeah, fantastic movie. If you haven't had a chance to see it yet, please do. It's well worth your time.
Yeah. Speaking of conventions, reminds me, I will just give another quick mention of the Hooverville Novel Experiences, which is Saturday, May the 13th in Derby. If you are in the UK, if you are in and around the Derby area, do come along to that. I will be there as a punter, but also you'll have Paul Mars, Dave McKenty, Paul Cornell, Mags Halliday, and a fair few folks, some of whose work we're going to be touching upon fairly shortly.
Yeah, in this very anthology.
Yes.
So, the book we read for this month is Iris Wildtime and the Celestial Omnibus, which was published in April of 2009 by Obverse Books.
Yep.
It has beautiful cover art by June Hudson, who was the costume designer for seasons 16 through 18 on Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Designing many of Romana's iconic outfits, as well as Tom Baker's season 18 look and Tegan's air hostess uniform.
Yeah.
June also has a cameo in the first episode of Class. The book is dedicated with love to Julie and Jeremy and is edited by Paul Mars and Stuart Douglas. And let's get our TARDIS timer out for this one, in the shape of a double-decker bus. Maybe set it for 5 minutes per story, I think.
Yes, I think so.
I think
so. Yes.
I'll have to find a bus sound effect.
Right. Well, from years of recording from my side, I'm sure there's enough audio clips of buses going past.
And for those listeners who might not be super familiar with Iris, she's popped up in a few of the short stories and novels we've read, but I'm not as super familiar with the character either. I know she's appeared in Verdigris. We read her first appearance in Old Flames, and I couldn't give you a rundown of all of her regenerations in any particular order, except I know one is based on Barbarella, as played by Jane Fonda. There's also a Shirley Bassey version and a Beryl Reid version.
Yeah.
And I know she's also known as Lilith, and she chose the name Iris as it's based on her favorite word, iridescence. And she's been played by Katie Manning for a number of years, and I think, unless it's otherwise noted, we can probably assume that the incarnation of Iris in this book and all the stories is the Katie Manning version, unless otherwise noted.
Yeah. Another incarnation is referenced. Or at least one other incarnation is referenced, but yeah. And also, before we get going, and I'm trying to remember the name, I've been doing quite a bit of driving in March, and I listened to a Big Finish audio featuring the Sixth Doctor and the Wormery.
Oh, yes.
That's amazing. I thought that was brilliant. Such a wonderful story. And and so go have a listen to that. I would say.
Iris also, she travels in a trans-dimensional double-decker bus.
Yes.
That's smaller on the inside.
Yes.
And she travels with different companions, and right now she's traveling with a sentient stuffed teddy bear named Panda.
Yes.
Who's presumably from the same planet or dimension as Teddy Sparkles, which is a bear we met in the Missy Chronicles.
So, yeah, there seems to be a few different theories. I sent the TARDIS wiki page on Panda to our reader this month, who just went, what? It's a wild read. Because Panda is a stuffed toy, Panda's paws can't really move. He can't form fists or anything. So Panda has blue tack stuck so he could just pick things up. I mean, how Panda therefore lets things go, I don't know. He uses maybe the side of the other paw or something. I don't know, but yeah.
And a couple of other companions that Iris has traveled with get a mention or show up, including Jenny, the traffic warden from Verdigris, and Tom, who was in
The Scarlet Empress,
and a few different Big Finish audios as well.
Yes.
And the book opens with an introduction by Katie Manning, where she kind of sums up the character and provides the basic premise, introducing Panda and the 22 to Putney Common double-decker bus.
Yes.
So shall we get started?
Yeah, let's begin. Yeah.
All right. The first short story is called A Gamble with Wildtime by Steve Lyons, and we've read The Final Sanction and Stealers of Dreams by him.
Yeah.
And probably one of the, because I've also read Conundrum, Head Games, Time of Your Life, and Killing Ground, so one of the few authors where I think I've read most or almost all of his work. And it's interesting that this is called A Gamble with Wildtime, because we've also read a short story by him in the River Song collection called A Gamble with Time. So it's kind of clear that he likes that title.
Yes. Yeah.
And so Iris and Panda rescue a man named Will Brandon, who's being pursued by mercenaries in the employ of Meow, which stands for the stands for a few different things.
It's like unit, isn't it? Yes.
But in this particular story, it stands for the Ministry for Incursions and Ontological Wonders, which is kind of like a unit analog first seen in the 8th Doctor book, Mad Dogs and Englishmen. And they're kind of like a unit or Torchwood style.
Yes.
Maybe a little campier.
Yeah, they're kind of like the librarians.
From that series.
Yes, yeah.
And so Panda, Iris, and Will are taking shelter in an old church, and Brandon reveals he's stolen the original painting A Friend in Need, which is one of the famous set of dogs playing poker paintings that are over like 100 years old now.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that they were, one, a real thing, and two...
Oh, I knew it was a real thing, but I thought it was just the one. I didn't realise that there was like others. There was others in the series.
The whole series, yeah. And Brandon reveals that the painting contains a hidden image of a double-decker bus and claims that all the numbers in the painting, including the number 22, are a set of hidden coordinates identifying the location of a secret alien weapon.
Yeah, and Iris is trying to calm them down, and then a whole host of talking dogs with opposable thumbs burst into the church, led by Brandon's own poodle called Tilly. And these, I think, are from Mad Dogs and Englishmen. Mm-hmm. And then the Meow mercenaries burst into the church, overpowered by the dogs, because basically the Meow mercenaries are unit. So.
And Iris stands up and declares that at one point she tries to disrupt the fighting by yelling out that she's the Ka Farak Kawithria, which is similar to the Doctor's title, but it stands for the oncoming hangover. Which I thought was just hilarious.
Well, she also says there will be no argy-bargy here, which is a bit of a pun on what the 7th Doctor says in Battlefield. Apparently, the bulldog that's in the painting of dogs playing poker is an ancestor of one of these kind of talking dogs' most respected statesmen, and the painting depicts him cheating at cards. And so the dogs have kind of like destroyed all copies of this painting. They've manipulated Brandon to stealing the original so they can destroy it as well. And they're going to kill everybody in the church to eliminate all the witnesses.
Yeah. And then Iris gambles to save everyone's lives, and at Brandon's insistence, puts the painting up on the line too, on a final hand of poker, and Tilly the poodle accepts the wager, and Iris begins to deal out the cards from a deck that the dogs are unaware are very blatantly marked using green dots on a red background, so because the dogs are colorblind, they're not going to realize that Iris cheats, and that's how the story ends, and we don't find out how the game ends, but it's heavily implied, Iris will win.
Yeah.
So what'd you make of this first one?
I think possibly too silly, maybe. I was reading it and was thinking, is it all going to be like this?
I think that's Iris's...
Yes, I know, but I was just thinking, seriously, is it all going to be like this? I mean, it was fun, but I was also just, I don't know.
I found it to be a fun and humorous story, but it had a lot of references that I had to look up.
Yes.
Not having read Mad Dogs and Englishmen, which this story kind of acts as a sequel to.
Yes. Possibly for the opening story of the first anthology of a series, it might be a bit too continuity heavy.
All right. Well, we are at time, so I will reset.
Cool.
And this brings us to...
Sovereign by Mags Halliday. And Mags Halliday is married to Mark Clapham, the internet tells me. And Mags wrote History 101. And also as well, I think, was contributed to the Book of War. She lives in a small 18th century cottage in Exeter, according to the internet, according to the Faction Paradox. So that information may or may not be true, because it's Faction Paradox. But yeah, so our story starts in January 1960, and Iris is visiting an old friend of hers, an artist called Agnes Inglewood, fabulous name. Agnes is living in Cornwall with her teenage daughter Belle and a writer called Dana.
I was wondering, is Dana just there like visiting and hanging out as a fellow artist, or is she Agnes's partner? Because it was kind of unclear as to what their relationship was.
It's Cornwall. It's also as well, I wonder whether that's a slight reference to the Stones of Blood. Which is also set in Cornwall, which also has an ambiguous relationship.
Yeah. Huh.
So, but also it's Cornwall. Yeah. So Agnes fears that she's lost her artistic muse since entering the menopause and has asked Iris to help her. And Belle is rebelling against her liberal mum by dating a somewhat old-fashioned farm boy called Luke, but is beginning to somewhat get a little bit annoyed at Luke's apparent assumption that she belongs to him now. And yes, I can understand why she is annoyed.
Yeah. Then you have a village dance where Belle is reunited with her childhood friend Alex, who had returned from London to clear out his late father's cottage, and she can't help but notice he's no longer the gawky or uncoordinated boy that she once knew. And Luke jealously drags Belle away from the dance, and when she protests, he drops her off at the edge of her driveway on this kind of sprawling country estate, so she has quite a long walk the rest of the way to her house. And as she's walking through the cold, she's confronted by this creature who's almost attacks her from the air, and it looks like an owl, part human, which I didn't realize is based on a Cornish legend dating back to all the way back to 1976 called the Owlmen.
Yes, there are some deep cuts and allusions here. But yeah, so the owl retreats when kind of like the other women appear. The owl continues to stalk Belle over the next several nights, while she finds herself torn between Luke and Alex, who both love her in very different ways. It just occurred to me, this is Twilight, isn't the character called Belle?
Well, I was thinking more Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, but the main female lead is Belle, isn't she, or Bella in Twilight? But yeah. So Dana eventually shoots the owlman in the wing, driving him away, and reminds Agnes and Belle that she's told them these stories before. That according to legend, a young man from Zenon, a town, not a real town, turned into an owl to watch over his true love, only to find he was struck in that form by night until she loved him in return. And so Dana reckons that this owl is a manifestation created by Belle entering womanhood at the same time that her mother enters menopause.
Mm-hmm. And when the creature's shot, Dana goes outside with a shotgun, and I had to laugh at her line as, we're at the time, where she cocks the weapon and she says, "I don't have time for this. I'm on a deadline."
Yes.
And it's kind of I thought it was kind of a clever nod to the audience's intelligence that both of the lads were injured to kind of keep us guessing, because it was fairly obvious that one of these two boys was transforming into the owl, but I wasn't sure which one. And of course, Iris just thinks, they're both injured because they were just fighting over you.
Yes. Yeah. This is a very Iris-light story, isn't it? So Belle finds the injured owlman, and she gets him brought into the house, and there she tells him that he is her true love. And so the owlman transforms into Alex, and Belle and Alex leave the farm on Alex's Vespa to go for adventure.
Riding off to London, yeah.
Yes, and Agnes finds her inspiration has returned.
Yep, so she's able to do paintings and stuff again.
Yeah, I loved this, but I was getting a lot of like the Cornish references, and even though most of the places were made up, they were made up but kind of like were clearly references to real places. So it felt like it was just like from the other hill over, you know what I mean? It was like, it's not an area of Cornwall I know, but it's probably maybe just a little bit downriver, a little bit further to the west. But yeah, I enjoyed it, though you really don't have a lot of Iris in there. She's just a background character in this.
I enjoyed it as well. It felt more like a cozy, kind of intimate domestic drama for much of it. It might be the first thing I've read by Megs Halliday.
Yes.
And I liked the kind of the underlying theme about creatives losing and finding their inspiration.
Yes. Yeah.
Although it's never really explained how Alex became an owl, or if he's like part alien or what. I mean, I know they had the theory about the psychic projection and stuff, but he actually transformed and he was actually shot with a shotgun. So
yeah. But do we need everything explaining?
Not everything, but the main plot point would be nice. But...
Yeah.
But yeah, I did appreciate the tone of this one quite a bit.
Yes. Yeah, it made me kind of realise, it's not all going to be super, super silly.
So that brings us to The Unhappy Medium
Yes.
by the writing duo of Mark Wright and Cavan Scott,
Yeah.
which there's a TV psychic named Hilary Mercer, which is a guy.
Yes, it's a pun on there was a TV doctor called Hilary. Who
Okay.
was on TVAM or Good Morning TV for years, so I assume this is...
Based on
Yes.
that person, okay. And this TV psychic, Hilary Mercer, has 3 seasons of a show called Dead Scary, in which he claims to contact the spirits of the deceased before a live studio audience, using his late mother's ghost as a spirit guide, and his career is going really well until he begins to hear voices in the middle of it's like a live show. He's on tour.
Yes.
And a woman named Iris and her slightly drunk friend Panda try to take a shortcut through the astral plane and are under attack by a horde of creatures known as ectovores. And Iris is using her bus's telepathic circuits to contact her sort of half-brother named Hilary Wildtime for help, which I guess he's appeared in other things.
Yeah, well, it seems, yeah.
But accidentally contacts the wrong psychic Hilary, and because she then tries to reverse the charges of the phone of the psychic phone call, the ectovores are able to travel down the line and manifest on Earth in this auditorium.
Yeah, because Iris and Panda are they're in some kind of like spiritual service station, kind of like petrol station. That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
So one of the ectovores possesses a studio security guard and starts to just eat members of the audience. And Iris rescues Hilary by pulling him back along the psychic link onto the bus, and then takes him back to the studio a few seconds before the ectovores manifest. And Iris gives Hilary something that looks like her lady shaver. And on her instructions, Hilary rushes out of the bus and touches his younger self. And the burst of temporal energy forces the ectovores back along the bridge, like the psychic bridge, and seals it behind them. Hilary is protected by the lady shaver, which is, in fact, Iris's time scanner, but awakens in hospital to find he now really does have the power to see the dead. But this also means he can actually see his late mother's ghost, and he's happy to learn that she's as proud of him as he'd always hoped she was.
And a couple of fun moments in this that stood out to me.
Yes.
So when Hilary collapses after the Blinovitch limitation effect happens,
Yes.
Panda says, "Oh, is he a Time Lord too?" And Iris says, "No, I can generally recognize other Time Lords by their body odor." Pretty funny. Yeah. And then the ectovores crossing the psychic bridge, that reminded me a little bit of like the Gelth.
Yes.
From The Unquiet Dead. And we get a reference to The Forge, which was a Cavan Scott and Mark Wright creation for Big Finish, which was kind of like a more malevolent Torchwood, primarily dealing with vampire incursions.
It was pre-Torchwood, wasn't it, I think?
Yeah, their version came out before Torchwood.
Yeah.
I like that this book was published in 2009 because I was still current on Big Finish back then. So right. In this story in particular, I did get a lot of those references.
Yeah.
What'd you make of this one?
Yeah, fun. Great fun. Brilliantly daft. Humour is a weird thing, isn't it? If it hits you well, it's brilliant, but if it bounces off you, then there's no chance of it coming back. And this just hit my sweet spot.
Yeah, I thought this was a fun little piece, not quite as enjoyable as some of the others in the collection, and the ending gave me kind of Shroud of Sorrow or Plague City vibes with Seeing the Dead, but of course this was written before either of those stories. So.
Yeah, I guess it's not original that you would have like a medium being punished by actually being able to see the dead at the end of the story. I mean, I think I've seen stuff of that in before, but still, good fun.
Yeah, and there was the timer. So
cool.
Moving on to Future Legend by Stuart Douglas.
Yes.
I'm not familiar with Stuart Douglas.
So he's the editor of Obverse Books.
Co-edited this book then.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So shall we begin?
This is where our dramatic reading comes in, right?
It is, yes, yeah, because most of this story is told in a series of emails, most of which are written by Panda. So we are going to listen to a bit of that correspondence, and it will be voiced by Lauren Deborah, who we've had as a reader on before. So you can listen to her fantastic podcast, My Dad Stole My Limelight, about like coming out type experiences. Also, as well, have a look for her Substack. But just if you just Google Lauren Deborah, you will find her. Yeah, and we'll put links to all of that in the various social media things. So let's have a listen.
From Panda at thebigredbus.uni to Jenny at miaow.gov. Subject: This isn't Darlington, Toto. Well, Jenny, this has all gone rather badly, I must say. Obviously, I refuse to blame you for my predicament. After all, it's hardly your fault that the postman couldn't find your top secret HQ, though sticking the place underneath the indoor market does seem a teensy bit paranoid to me. Still, I digress. Nerves, they make me natter on like Iris on Asda Gin. They make you, well, we both know what they make you do. I'm hardly unique in watching you do the mad sprint leftwards, am I? Anyway, no, I don't blame you in the slightest. I blame Iris, the booze-pickled old lush. It was she, when all's said and done, who forced me off the bus. She who left me no choice but to abscond. She who made my continued presence an impossibility. She who called me a cut-price Paddington. Paddington, a fictional bear of surpassing stupidity and rapacity, a poor man's poo, even begging for food and shelter like some Peruvian gypsy at the door, a scrounger, she called me, a mumper and a taker, an ingrate and a sponger, as good, she said, as Scottish. And all over a half bottle of tonic water. Not even a half bottle, if truth be told, a third full at best, which I never touched in any case, I need hardly add. It was unbearable, worse even than the time when I called her clone son a tiny bit implausible. She cast that up for months afterwards when he turned out to be a sentient YouTube video, as though the way he kept going all blocky and grainy looking wasn't a pretty big clue. All of which explains why I put myself up for sale on eBay. I mean to say, I could hardly jump off at the next stop, could I? Not with my legs. No, get myself sold as a rare item to some avaricious yet tasteful collector back on Earth, I thought, and then hitch my way up to you in Darlington. It all seemed so easy in the planning stage, but then I... From Panda at thebigredbus.uni to Jenny at miaow.gov. Subject: We'll always have this airing cupboard. Oh, damn and blast. Sorry about that, dear heart. I pressed send by mistake and off the message went, prematurely spent. And I get a woeful signal in this sodding cupboard at the best of times, even without the problem of my lack of fingers and this phone's perversely tiny buttons. But never mind. Brave heart and all that. Back to the early stages of my ongoing tale of woe. If you remember, I had decided to sell myself into temporary slavery on eBay, and my listing had proven gratifyingly successful. Desirable 20th century collectible panda plushie, rare MOC. Only the MOC was actually false advertising, I think, though it's a measure of my fury that I never balked at plushie. The bidding had been quite ferocious, if truth be told, and my little auction had raised the cockle-warming sum of £200 and 51 pence. Money which I intended to use to hire a taxi to take me to MIAOW, Northeast Division HQ, from wherever on earth I was delivered. So I bought one of those self-sealing boxes, stuck an address label on. Do you know where the Mount Weasel is, incidentally, anywhere near you? And lay back for a nice relaxing kip as I sped my sleepy way through hyperspace. Between you and me, I was quite looking forward to the trip. Iris and I had been rubbing each other up the wrong way for a while, and this wasn't the first time harsh words had been spoken. Personally, I think she misses Tom and resents the fact that I'm not him. Iris is never quite the same without some trim gay man around the place with whom she can compare notes about leather trousers and feather boas and the like. Neither of which, as a hand-stitched panda presented in his own immaculately brushed fur, is exactly an area of my own expertise. For my part, I suppose it's possible that I've been a little fractious lately, but who can blame me, the way I'm treated? A few weeks ago, for instance, we managed to prevent this old freighter crashing into prehistoric Earth and killing all the dinosaurs, even if it did take Iris 17 goes before she managed to get Tom off in time. And the old bag got so pissed afterwards that she forgot I was with her and left me on that smelly rust bucket for a fortnight. 2 weeks with no greater intellectual stimuli than a half-daft cook who claimed that he knew the location of one of the Atlantises and the real identity of someone called Bianca, and prophesied that Tom was one day destined to rule a land of giant scorpions. Totally hat stand, of course. You wouldn't have liked it there in any case. One working toilet for 50 permanently half-cut crew. I've seen less busy facilities at CC Bloom's on the London Road on a Friday night. But I'm wandering off the point again. The point is that our friendship has cooled a bit recently. The other and more pressing point is that I never arrived in Darlington. You already know that, of course, but ended up here instead. In what, unless I'm very much mistaken, is the bottom of an airing cupboard, a very long way from Earth indeed. Little did I know how far, Tom. I won't keep you hanging, though.
Thank you so much, Lauren, for reading that.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
And stick around after the end credits today because I'm sure they will feature some of Lauren's outtakes, which are Equally hilarious.
Yeah, Lauren is very good at outtakes.
So, as we heard, this is a series of emails from Panda to Jenny, who's now stationed at Meow, kind of like how Martha went on to work at Unit and then later Torchwood. Yeah. Jenny was a character we first met in Verdigris, apparently, although I don't have any recollection of her.
No, nor did I. Nor did I. No. But yeah, so basically, so this is a bit of a complicated thing, but Panda he's had a bit of a row with Iris. And as you were hearing, he sold himself on eBay, and he's now been captured by the fiendish cyber cats of the pussy world. And Panda is trying to get rescued.
Missed opportunity to tie it into Gary Russell's book Invasion of the Cat People there.
Yeah, possibly. The cat people show Panda the broken gear stick of Iris's bus, which would suggest that Iris is dead. Which seems a bit of a leap, but hey-ho. And then they admitted that they've tricked him into emailing Iris so they can capture her when she turns up to rescue him. And the boss cat uses a broken gear stick and a segment of the key to the clockworks to open up a rift in time through which Iris's bus emerges.
And this key to the clockworks is described as it was kept in a cupboard where Panda was stashed and he was sleeping on it, and he said it was an uncomfortable piece of perspex, which turns out to be one of the segments to the key to time. But it's all an elaborate trap to get Iris's attention.
Yes.
And from there, Iris reveals to Panda that this is at the end of time, so presumably the 10th Doctor and the Toclafane and the 12th Doctor and me are also gallivanting around on this planet. So you've got these cat-like people struggling to survive on this last viable planet in the universe. And they found the broken gear stick in the ruins of Sparrow City, which is, I believe, from the Scarlet Empress.
Yes, it is, yeah.
And from there they lured Iris so that they can escape on her bus, but she refuses to take them, claiming it would be too dangerous to take them into the past with all their knowledge of future history. She offers an alternative, however. She can use the segment of the key to time to take them to a deserted world in the Obverse, which is her home dimension first mentioned in The Blue Angel, where knowledge of this universe won't pose a threat.
Yeah.
So the cats accept her offer, but once they've boarded the bus and Iris is dematerialized, the boss cat threatens to throw Panda out into the vortex unless Iris changes the coordinates to take them to the Obverse so he can raise an army and take over the Obverse. And the other cats object to this change of plan, and the boss cat responds by killing the most vocal spokes cat. However, it breaks the gear stick of Iris's bus in its death throes, and she and the general, boss cat, fight each other using the gear sticks to the bus as swords. So you get 2 stories in a row with the Blinovitch limitation effect coming into play.
Yes.
And just as the boss cat is about to win, Panda and the other cats rush him and throw him off the bus into the vortex. And then Iris transports the remaining cats to a planet ruled by cybernetic animals and departs before the canines on the planet can object to the presence of cats on the world. So Iris is like, let's get out of here.
Yes.
She runs away like that a few times at the end of these stories.
Yes. Yeah, what did you make of this one?
I thought it was fun. I thought it was a little silly, but I liked the narrative of the emails going on, although that was dropped after a while.
I enjoyed it, but when we're just kind of going through the summary there, I mean, I didn't really kind of get caught up in the plot. I was just enjoying Panda. And just experiencing an adventure more or less from Panda's point of view.
Yeah, he was particularly well written in this one, I think.
Yeah.
And the person he's writing to is Tom, which is Iris's former companion. I remember him from the first series of Iris audios with Big Finish, as played by Ortis DeLay of Channel 5's The Gadget Show. And he too was introduced in Verdigris.
Yes.
Which I don't recall. I do remember the first time we encountered Iris in Old Flames. Her companion at that time was a Captain Turner from the 18th century, but I don't think he gets a whole lot of mentions here.
No, I don't think he gets any mentions there. But I enjoyed it. I liked all the various references to various Doctor Who adventures.
Yeah, this was a fun one.
Yeah, it's good fun. Good fun.
All right, I'm going to reset the timer, and our next story is called Battleship Anathema by Philip Purser Hallard.
Mm.
And this one, I'll just come right out and say it, reads like a parody of Battlestar Galactica.
Somewhat.
Where,
yes.
oh, very, very much so. Iris expects the 1970s version of Battlestar Galactica from her previous visit when she was in a Barbarella-esque body, and instead she gets the early 2000s version of Battlestar Galactica.
Yes.
And you have vixens instead of vipers, sirens instead of cylons.
Yeah.
You have references to the Nero call sign being shared by an older male and a younger woman, a la Starbuck. So you get quite a few references there.
Yeah, do you get that? Because Cafe Nero is a coffee company over here, so Starbucks.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
Ah, I did not get that. Huh.
Yes. Yeah.
That's even more clever.
Yes. Yes. Though I'm saying I didn't notice that. It was just only when you were saying, "Oh, the Nero." Oh yeah, Starbucks. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any Neros over here.
No.
So this begins with Iris materializing near the Cardinal Flotilla, a ragtag fugitive fleet on the run from the Sirens, a race of lizard cyborgs who destroyed the 7 cardinal worlds, or the colonial worlds in BSG.
Yeah.
Iris has visited the flotilla before and remembers having a lot of fun adventures with its crew, but 30 years later, many of her old friends have died in battle, and the fleet has become a grim and grizzled and humorless place. And Admiral Rex Halidum, who's kind of like Admiral Adama, has locked Iris up in the brig until she agrees to pilot a squadron of Marines to the Cyrene Queen ship, which is like the Cylon base star, in her bus.
Yes.
And she reluctantly agrees to do so, but she's appalled to learn that the entire war was caused by a minor theological dispute over the nature of the gods being that they both the Sirens and the humans worship.
Well, isn't it something to do with Christ specifically? I can't remember the exact.
Yeah,
text.
it is. And that was based on how Glenn Larson made the original Battlestar Galactica an allusion to like the Mormon religion.
Yes.
Where you have like the Council of 12.
Yes, yeah. So this attack that they're trying to do on the Cyrene Queen ship is compromised when Sergeant Hadrian is revealed to be a Cyrene infiltrator in a human suit. But as they try to escape, the Marines notice that the Sirens have become fascinated by Panda, and they reckon that the cute little stuffed animal has somehow triggered the Sirens' paternal instincts. So one of the human or humanoid crew, former child genius Doc Zero, tries to create a set of bombs disguised as panda toys, but Iris and Panda manage to deactivate the bombs before they're sent on their suicide mission.
And Doc Zero's like a Gaius analog.
Yes, yeah. And Panda ends up becoming a media celebrity, and he causes the fleet's children to begin clamouring for pandas of their own. So Iris thus contacts the Archbishop Barnaby. I can't think who Barnaby is in Battlestar, but anyway, and she reveals that she knows him to be a Cyrene sleeper agent, and blackmails him into organising a panda convention for both human and Cyrene panda fans. And Iris and Panda then depart. They don't know whether the humans and Sirens will find common ground in their love of Panda, but they hope for the best.
PandaCon, yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one. Like,
Yeah.
if you get past it's a spoof of BSG.
Yes.
Really liked how Iris was expecting the 1970s style Fleet and Reception, but she ends up getting the 2002 Ronald D. Moore version instead.
Yeah.
And I liked, too, how there was like an interesting technique where they did a number of just quick vignettes as story beats in rapid succession, where you get almost like a full season of adventures as like episode synopses.
Yes.
Including like a Cylon Borg Queen moment with Panda, Zero, aka Starbuck Katie Sackhoff, attacking Cylons with pulse rifles, Panda confronting their evil twin, a whole lot of adventures like that.
Yeah. It's well written as well. And also, I have a minor confession. I realised that there were some slight references to Battlestar Galactica. It didn't entirely kind of like go me, oh, this is Adama, this is this. So maybe I was tired when I read this.
And they use like throcking every other word.
Yes.
It's like fracking in BSG or frelling in Farscape.
Yes.
And then we get an actual expletive when the Admiral realizes that Iris has returned, and he's like, oh.
Yes, yeah. There is some strong swearing in this book, isn't there? Yeah. Across the anthology.
There is. And I like how, again, Iris and Panda just kind of duck out as the convention's getting started. And they're like, well, we hope this works.
Yes.
And there was a rather sweet moment where the Admiral talks about how he has one copy of like a single Jane Austen book that he read over and over again for like 20 years. And then Iris, as she's departing, gives him the complete works of Jane Austen in like an omnibus. So that was really cool.
Yeah, a celestial omnibus.
Indeed. All right, so we are at time.
Yeah, cool. Should we move on to... The Dreadful Flap by Paul Mars.
Yes, we have Paul Mars's contribution to the collection here.
Yes. Yeah, so it's December 2008. And Iris and Panda are visiting Iris's old companion, Jenny Winterleaf, who, as we've been hearing, is a former traffic warden who now works for the Darlington branch of Meow. And 43 years ago, a rift in space and time called the Dreadful Flap opened up in Darlington. And this branch of Meow deals with the alien flotsam and jetsam that falls through it.
Very much like Torchwood 3.
Yeah, like Torchwood. I've been to Darlington. It does feel like that kind of place. Yeah. Anyway, so Jenny introduces Iris and Panda to her suave, immortal boss, Christoph Alucard, and invites them to watch as they deal with an evil robot warlord that's about to fall through the Dreadful Flap. And the robot is not actually an evil warlord, but is a vending machine called Barbara, who is fleeing the destruction of space station Antelope/Nightlight in the 35th century. Alucard and Jenny still plan to disassemble her to find out how she works.
And she's a rather sweet droid, too.
Yeah.
Very sympathetic.
Yes, she is. She's rather lovely. So Iris sends Panda to rescue Barbara while she's looking into the origins of the Dreadful Flap. And whilst doing so, she learns, in a bit of a surprising twist, that Noel Coward was appearing as the Genie of the Lamp in a pantomime in Darlington instead of living in retirement in Jamaica. So Iris travels back in time to confront Noel, who admits that he's been overusing his magical time-travelling pinking shears, which I think is a reference was from Mad Dogs and Englishmen. Through that, he's torn his own history to shreds.
Meanwhile, Jenny catches Panda setting Barbara free and isn't sure whether she should stop them, and admits that she's in love with Alucard. And Panda, quite irritated, reminds Jenny that, hey, you're a lesbian, and points out that Alucard is really Count Dracula backwards, which anyone who's played a Castlevania game would get that reference too, in an extremely obvious disguise. And another Meow operative, a mermaid named Magda, gives Jenny an old book that she was recently given by a solicitor who had been holding onto it for 40 years. It's a bunch of Noel Coward quotes, and inside is a message from Iris herself, bringing them up to date about her traveling back in time. And then Jenny, Panda, and Barbara travel back in time using a time ring, which is in a very interesting shape, which Jenny uses for other things. And it was given to Jenny by Iris.
Not for hoovering.
Yeah. And finds that Dracula has stood aboard Iris's bus and is attacking her and Noel, kind of transformed into a savage dog. And then Noel Coward's pet poodle, Princess, attacks the vampire but gets bitten by the other dog, and then Dracula flees in his dog form. And not entirely sure what's going on, Noel then runs after Dracula and stabs him in the heart with the magical pinking shears. And while this reduces Dracula to dust, it also has the byproduct of creating the Dreadful Flap, the rift in the first place. And Iris sends Noel back to the theater, forgetting to remind him that his poodle may now be a vampire. And then she takes Dracula's ashes and buries them in a crypt in Whitby, and takes Jenny and Barbara back to Darlington in 2008.
Yes.
So, a lot going on in this one.
Yes, yeah. I loved it. It was, very funny.
Very body.
Yes.
in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
BAWDY sense of the word.
Yes, yeah. Because I thought, oh, I didn't realise Noel Coward is in all of this. But I thought, well, Mad Dog's Englishman is a quote from Noel Coward, so it makes kind of sense that he would be involved in that story. But yeah, good fun. Yeah, did you enjoy it?
I did. Yeah, it was another one where it was another sequel to Mad Dogs and Englishmen, which
Yes.
I haven't read, but
Yeah.
despite that, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was cool seeing Iris versus Dracula as a vampire, and the humor was right on point. And I mean, you can tell that Paul created this character, so knows her inside and out, and good fun.
Yeah, good fun. Have I ever told you? I don't think I've told the listeners. I don't think I've told you either. A friend of mine lives in Noel Coward's childhood home.
Huh.
And they were doing the floorboards up, and they found some like really old toys, like little cars. And they're like, "Oh, were these Noel Coward's toys?"
Huh.
Anyway, that's my Noel Coward story. Yes.
Noel Coward isn't super well known outside of the UK, I don't think.
Okay.
I was vaguely familiar with him, and I thought he was like, is like a kind of a contemporary of like Ian Fleming.
Yes.
Kind of in that same
Well,
circle.
but yes, a more humorous.
Yeah.
He's also in The Italian Job.
Okay. The original.
The original, yes. Yeah. Yes, he had passed away by the time Sylvester Stallone decided to do another version. Anyway,
Cool.
Noel Coward.
All right. I'm going to reset the timer.
Yes.
And we're moving on to... And Not a Drop to Drink by Stephen Wickham.
Yes. I didn't actually find anything about Stephen Wickham, but there is somebody of that name who is an Australian photographer, painter and printmaker. So maybe that's him. So Iris is horrified to discover that she's finished off the last of her gin on a Sunday when all of the kind of like the off licenses are closed, which is places where you can buy alcohol. I live next to an off license, dear listener. They do not close on Sunday these days, I can assure you.
Minnesota just recently went to liquor sales on Sunday, probably like 5 or 6 years ago. So it was a fairly recent development.
Yes.
Although I think we may have been an outlier there.
Yeah, so the Celestial Omnibus is responding to a distress signal from a distillery in Scotland. And whilst Panda is trying to kind of figure out what's causing the distress signal, Iris creates a dimensionally transcendental gin bottle and tries to fill it from one of the distillery's barrels. In her haste, she falls into the barrel herself. And by the time she's managed to fill the bottle, she's already quite drunk. Bless her. And Panda hauls Iris back to the bus. And once she's recovered from all of this, he reveals that the distress call has been sent by a liquid alien called an aquaform. And the alien's telepathic influence had affected Iris as soon as she came within range. But because she was already desperate for gin, the alien influence has pushed her too far over the edge. And while she was swimming in the gin barrel, she accidentally drank the aquaform. So basically all they need to do now is just kind of wait for nature to take its course, because she's got an alien that's going through her system. And that is and not a drop to drink.
Yeah, and this one was a little bit more on the shorter side.
Yes.
Kind of felt more like an interlude.
Yes.
And it was enjoyable, but not necessarily my favorite of the collection. And I was kind of wondering, is Iris really that much of a lush? But her being under the influence of the alien helps explain some of her behavior.
Yeah.
The other thing I noted that was interesting is that they actually used the acronym TARDIS in this story, which is, I think, the only time that a direct Doctor Who, because, you know, they call, like, Gallifrey the Clockworks. And what did you think of this one?
Yeah, I think I could take it or leave it, to be fair. For me, I think it was one of the less successful stories. But yeah. It was all right. Yeah.
Well, nothing more to say about that one.
No,
we have a minute left.
Right, okay.
This next one, do you want me to try to pronounce it, or how's your Spanish?
Well, I've been learning on Duolingo, so I'm going to try to humiliate myself.
All right.
So this is... Iris Welltime y Señor Gigento contra los monstruos del fiesta.
Very good. I would say it's probably 105.
Oh, 105, yes, sí.
105.
105 contra los monstruos del fiesta.
By Cody Shell.
Yes. Cody Shell also goes by the name of Koji Huikano show, and has written some stories for Bernie Summerfield in Big Finish, but also quite a few Iris Wildtime stories.
Yeah, and Senor Siente Cinco is also known as Mr. 105.
Yes.
Would be his English translation.
Yes.
So this one opens with Panda being unexpectedly possessed by an ancient evil force, which causes the Celestial Omnibus to crash in a back alley in Mexico in the year 1968. And an evil influence draws Panda to a nearby party, but when Iris arrives, the revelers have been reduced to skeletons, and the yard is draped with bloody gauze bandages. And a masked figure kidnaps Panda, and Iris tracks him down to the home of Senor Siente Cinco, a legendary luchador who battles the forces of evil and owns one mask for every element in the periodic table except for silver.
Yeah, I was just going to say luchador, we might need to explain.
So a Mexican wrestler who wears a mask.
Yes, yeah.
And there's an actual genre of film that are like luchador films where they take famous wrestlers in Mexico and turn them into almost like superheroes.
Okay.
An example of this, which was riffed this season, season 13, Mystery Science Theater 3000, Santo versus the Vampire Women is an example of this, where the luchadors are decked out very much like Batman, where they have like caves and vehicles, and they're like detective scientists solving crimes in laboratories.
Right.
So yeah, having that background context is important because
Yes.
essentially this story is Iris stepping into a luchador film.
Okay, it makes a bit more sense now, I have to say. Yes.
So, Senor 105 initially assumed that the possessed panda was related to the monsters that have been slaughtering the partygoers, but when he and Iris worked together to analyze the debris from the party, they discovered that the monsters were made of paper mache, and so were similarly possessed like Panda was. Almost like they were blanking on the things full of candy.
Yeah, piñata.
Piñatas.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
Paper mache piñatas, yeah. And the city's premier piñata maker is attacked by his own creations, which escape from the store and head for the opening ceremonies of the Olympic Games, which is being held in Mexico that year. Unfortunately, they're distracted by another party on their way.
And Iris, Senor 105, and Panda try to intervene, but the evil piñatas force the revelers to party to extremes and then feed off their life energy, reducing them to skeletons. Senor 105 deduces from an old song about piñatas that he can challenge their leader to a wrestling match.
Which is a standard trope in a luchador movie.
Oh, is it? Okay.
The climactic wrestling match, yeah.
Right, yes, rather than piñata songs being a key plot point. So a 2-meter tall mummy called Axixmiqui, we'll go with that, emerges through a dimensional rip, and Panda is forced to act as a referee to the bout. But Iris manages to wire some electronics from her bus into a hookah, so that had been given to her by Kublai Khan. Do I need to explain what a hookah is?
As a smoking device.
Yes.
Which
Middle Eastern
you can use
smoking device.
tobacco or other products.
Yes, yeah. And Iris uses the device to destroy the piñatas before this mummy, Axixmiqui, can feed on the life energy that they've stored within themselves. And Senor 105 pins the mummy and wins the match, but the mummy refuses to concede and reweaves his bandages into a perfect geometric shape that will open up a dimensional gateway through which his brethren can emerge to consume Mexico City. And Iris finds the weak point in the shape's equation and uses the remains of the bus's electronics to set the bandages on fire, forcing Axixmiqui to retreat. So she and Senor 105 spend several days repairing the bus and kind of building it. There's a kind of a bit of a First Doctor and what's her chops from the Aztecs vibe.
Yeah, some sharing of cocoa, perhaps.
Yes, a bit of sharing of cocoa. And Senor 105, knowing that Iris can never be pinned down to one time and place, shows her the true face beneath his mask.
It's a very Mandalorian-esque moment,
yes,
because luchadors aren't supposed to remove their masks.
No. And he gives her a gift of mask number 22, which was designed with a pattern and colour scheme that resembles her bus. this was wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed this one quite a bit, but I
Yes.
can understand how, if you're not familiar with like luchador films, that you would probably just be a head scratcher.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, it was well written. It was entertaining. There was also some references to like a real life horrific event that happened just before the Olympics in Mexico,
Yeah.
which I ended up looking up and going, whoa, dark times.
Similar to what happened in Munich in the 70s, too.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, I had no idea about this. But having said that, it didn't tonally jar. But I think it was just because I was just going, okay, all right, well, this is all very strange. But I mean, I was enjoying it. I was lapping it up.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance to see the riff of Santos versus the Vampire Women, I think you'll appreciate this even more.
Yes.
It takes you through the beats of like a typical luchador film.
Yeah.
Which Iris in a luchador film seems entirely appropriate.
Yes.
She's a natural fit.
Yes.
And I also like that when the luchador removes his mask, that the doesn't describe that private moment and kind of takes a step away. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I very much enjoyed this one. But yeah, I can see why some folks might not, but I'm glad you did as well.
I enjoyed it, but I was just, at times just a bit bemused by it. So, yes. Right. Cool.
All right, let's go on to our next story.
Yes. Why? Because We Like You by Jonathan Dennis, of whom I know nothing.
When I first read the title, I was singing it in Billy Piper-esque fashion.
Yes.
Like, because we want to.
I think you're supposed to, possibly, maybe.
So this one starts with, after waiting in line for over a half hour in the happiest place on Earth, which can only be Disney World.
Yes.
And at one point we get a mention of the Florida temperatures, so it rules out the other theme parks out there.
Yeah.
Iris and Panda notice that the animatronic robot exhibits have come to life and are herding tourists towards the fairy tale castle at the center of the park, which I believe in Florida is Cinderella's castle because it's Sleeping Beauty's castle in Anaheim. But don't quote me on that.
That's fine.
They're named after different.
Okay, I've only been to Euro Disney. I can't remember who the castle's named after. I just remember being surprised it was quite small.
Yeah, it is an optical illusion.
Yes.
So the park's cryogenically frozen founder, Walt Disney, emerges. See, this is paving the way for the Disney Doctor Who relationship to come.
They may sue.
The park's founder's wired to a life support system and announces the time has come to spread his empire of joy and happiness to the rest of the world, whether the rest of the world is ready or not. And the panic-stricken tourists are brutally subdued by the animatronic presidents of the United States from the Hall of Freedom. And Iris is separated by Panda while leading a group of tourists to shelter in the House of the Future, which is based on the Carousel of Progress ride. And several hours pass without rescue arriving, and Iris goes out to check only to find that the animatronic army is being held back from the park by a phalanx of lawyers. As only Disney can do. If you've read some of the recent headlines involving Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis has been trying to take control of Disney World, and Disney's lawyers have used an obscure legal clause naming the descendants of King Charles to extend their control of the park for another 80 years.
Oh!
So that development just happened.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant King Charles as in Charles III.
Oh, I do mean that.
Yeah, okay, right. I'm even more confused. But okay, but it's fine. It keeps Ron DeSantis in his box.
Yes. I'll send you an article about it.
Yes.
It was quite the legal takedown.
Yeah, good. Yes. So the robots capture Iris and throw her into an underground office to cool her heels. But Panda comes to the rescue with an army of animatronic international children who agree to help him when he taught them a new song to replace the rubbish they've been singing incessantly for decades. That's A Small World.
Exactly, yep.
And Iris reveals that she has an all-access pass for the grand opening of the park she's never used, and uses it to gain access to the founder. And the founder refuses to stop what he's doing, even when Iris points it out that it's making people miserable. She then pours a flask of gin into his life support tubing, and unable to handle his liquor, Walt Disney, for it is he, falls down the steps of the castle, tearing free of his life support machine and breaking his neck as he falls. And Iris and Panda retreat to the bus, protected by the animatronic singing children. Yeah.
I liked this one.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed this one, yeah.
It was fun, and I actually wish the theme park in Earthworld was a little closer to the one depicted in this. I thought tonally this was just spot on, and at one point Panda says to Iris, "You told me the happiest place on Earth was Tijuana."
Yeah, so I do think that, like, Disney parodies and like of Disneyland or Disney World and all the other Disney theme parks are kind of a bit overdone generally. So I was a bit like, oh, okay, because I was thinking, is this going to add anything new? I don't think it does, but it does what it wants to in a fun way. So I can't begrudge its existence, but it's also not my favourite in the collection, I think. But
yeah, I think the one note I had is I think they could have made even better use of the setting. Like, where's the Haunted Mansion? What about going to some of the other parks like Epcot for a bit, or the Tour of Nations and stuff? But given that it was a short story, they could only, Space Mountain makes an appearance, or their version of it and stuff. So
I think it deliberately does the things that are also available at, I said Euro Disney, or Disneyland Paris, I think is its current name. But like, so that therefore the things that would be known to most Brits as well. I mean, I know a lot of Brits will have gone to Florida and experienced it, but there'll be also a lot for who their only Disney experience is standing in the rain in Paris.
All right.
Yes.
Well, let's move on to The Scarlet Shadow.
Yes.
By Stuart Sheargold.
Yes, who seems to be Australian and has done other short trips and Bernie Summerfield and Iris Wildtime things. So whilst visiting a caravan in 18th century Russia, Iris and Panda encounter Marlene Dietrich. Yes, that's Marlene Dietrich, who used to travel through time with Noel Coward. This time, though, she apparently has ended up in Russia after falling into a painting of a scarlet woman being menaced by a shadowy figure. And the painting once belonged to the Grand Duke Peter, who lives in a nearby mansion. But it was stolen a few days before Marlene arrived. And Iris discovers that the thief used a Micklethwaite extractor to create an unstable moment in time during which the painting was stolen. But a side effect of the device has caused objects from the Duke's art gallery to come to life. And Iris and Panda glimpse the figures from the painting wandering around the grounds of the mansion. So, whilst investigating, they encounter a giant Siamese cat in a spacesuit, and a somewhat embarrassed Panda recognises that this cat is his ex-lover, the time-travelling cat burglar, Jemima Smythe.
A lot of anamorphic creatures in this collection.
Yes, yeah. And Jemima has stolen a future version of the painting from the Museum of Absolutes, but then began to hear the painting's voice in her head, beguiling her with tales of a land full of riches she could plunder.
And her time capsule crashed when it arrived, and she stole the past version of the painting in the hope that this could help her return to her home time. And Iris realizes that the dark forces within the painting had tricked Jemima into helping them to escape, but when she examines the painting, she then falls inside it and becomes trapped. And Panda and Marlene Dietrich question the travelers in the caravan, who reveal that a mysterious stranger once kidnapped a beautiful girl named Vasilisa and stole her life essence so that he could live forever. Which I think is a plot point from the TV series Angel and Buffy. And then the travelers in the caravan burned his body and trapped his soul in the cursed painting, which they then buried in a cave when the dead girl's father disappeared into it.
Yeah, because you've been having this burnt figure wandering around, and I've been thinking, oh, it's the Master.
Yes, because there's a reference to Koshi.
Yes.
From the Dark Path, and I was thinking, oh, it's Crispy Master.
Yes.
But it turns out it's not. It's kind of a red herring. And then Panda and Marlene then find the dead man's caravan in the cave and enter to find themselves inside the forest in the painting. So it was like another way to access this painted realm, along with Iris and the daughter Vasilisa, along with the mysterious stranger. And Iris identifies the stranger as the Archduke of Autumn, who's an alchemist from the Obverse. And he and Vasilisa had been bound to each other in like a marriage, like a betrothal ceremony. And the Archduke had engineered these events so that he and Vasilisa can possess Iris and Marlene's bodies to escape from the painting. Marlene Dietrich pretends to panic, knocks over a lantern as she runs, and since their surroundings are just an oil painting made of oil, it all goes up in flames. And Vasilisa, who never wanted to kill anyone to be free, holds the Archduke back in the painting as the flames consume it. And Iris, Panda, and Marlene are able to escape back out through the caravan portal. And then Irene then takes Marlene and Jemima back to their home, Eras.
Yeah. So, what did you make of this?
This one I felt was okay. It was a little bit on the longer side, and I don't think it necessarily earned its length there. And I felt the inclusion of like Marlene Dietrich ended up being pretty superfluous to the whole thing. Like she wasn't really needed, or she was a fun element to have, but it just kind of overcomplicated things a little bit, I felt. What did you think?
Well, this felt like a novella. There was a lot going on. I did enjoy it. Some of these things, I think, whilst I was reading it, I was enjoying it, but I was just looking back and I was going, yeah, okay, maybe not. But yeah, it was good, I think. Sorry, that's a really thing, but yeah, I mean, it was different. I mean, 18th century Russia is an unusual setting for Doctor Who, so it was nice to see a non-Anglo-Saxon country in a period of time that we don't often see it. Interesting, yeah.
This one was not one of my favorite, but I do appreciate the setting. There's a fun line where Marlene asks Panda, she's like, what do we do now? And Panda laughs, and then it goes, Panda laughed, suddenly knowing what it was like to have a companion.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot going on, as you said.
Yes, yeah.
All right, that brings us to our final story in the collection. Only Living Girls by Steve Cole.
Yeah. Two teenage girls, Etta Little and her friend Ellie, have survived some form of apocalypse. They're fans of the TV series Shadowmongers. And when they discovered that the bodies of the principal cast members have somehow survived, Ellie insists upon assembling them all in a shrine in Etta's home.
And by survived, they're all dead.
Yes.
Most of the humans in the world have been turned to ash in some way, almost like a Thanos-style finger snap.
Yes.
But the cast of this particular TV series, for whatever reason, weren't transformed into ash.
Yes.
And you can tell that they're very referential because they call it, as Doctor Who fans do, The Show, capital T, capital S. You know, The Show.
Yeah. The final body that they found belongs to David, the actor who played the handsome lead Mark Gaslight. But when they arrive at his home, they find Iris there with a gangly man whose name sounds an awful lot like Fritz. So it's probably the Eighth Doctor's companion, Fitz.
Fitz, yeah.
Particularly because he's clearly from the 60s as well. Fitz explains that Iris's friend Panda, who played a sinister Pandastro in an episode of Shadowmongers called Enemy Baird, attended a cast party at which David read aloud from the prop spellbook as a joke. But unfortunately, this has unleashed the Spiritus Mundi, an evil spirit that Iris had encountered once before. And Iris and Fitz are now trapped in an alternative version of events, in which the Spiritus Mundi won their battle and destroyed the world. And Ellie doesn't trust these newcomers, but she's forced to flee with them and Etta when the Spiritus Mundi attacks them in the form of choking ash clouds.
Yeah, and then they take David's body as they retreat, and it turns into a little bit like Weekend at Bernie's.
Yes.
carrying this corpse around. And back at Edda's house, Iris discovers that they've all already collected Panda, and Iris's presence restores Panda to life magically,
Yeah.
and he recognizes Edda as a figure from the season finale. He, Iris, and Fitz then realize that it was Edda and Ellie's pure love for the program, for the show, that kept them and the cast members' bodies intact during this catastrophic event. And the ash clouds then attack Edda's home, but David returns to life, acting or inhabiting the role of Mark Gaslight. Ellie's too frightened to help, but Edda steps in and plays her part, kissing Mark/David and offering up her life as a sacrifice to complete the ritual he had inadvertently started. And the Spiritus Mundi is sent back to where it came from, and the world returns to normal. Only Iris remembers what happens, and the ghost of Ella is content with that, knowing that she was such a true fan of Shadowmongers that her love was powerful enough to save the world.
Yeah.
So it sounds a little weird, but I found this to be kind of a sweet, very meta story about fandom.
Yeah.
And there were a few bits in it that I really enjoyed. The references to like ShadowCon being an annual event, and Shadow fans also sometimes being called Shadow Mingers.
Yeah, yeah. When Doctor Who does stories about long-running or about fantasy TV series, there are times where I go, oh okay, right. So it just
Didn't stick with you?
yeah. I mean, it was no Nightshade, which also has a show within the show, but yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it. It's not my favourite story in the collection. It was all right. I mean, it was nice. It was girls. I really appreciate the fact that that like it's two teenage girls going through this, and yeah.
I think it's a pity that Tara Sams wasn't available, because her inclusion would have doubled the number of women writers working on this collection. But there you go.
Yes.
But yeah, I like this one. Probably it sounds like a little bit more than you did.
Yeah.
I thought it was an odd choice to end the collection on.
Yes, I think possibly. Yeah, because you want to go out with a bit of a bang, I guess. And I mean, okay, sure, it's about like the end of the world, but yeah.
So that was Only Living Girls. The timer just went off there.
Okay.
What did you make of the collection overall as a whole? Have you read much, Iris? Or
I think, yeah, the only Iris I've read, apart from Scarlet Empress, is stuff that we've read for the show. It was interesting seeing how Iris, as a character, responds to various different styles of story, because I was wondering, is this going to be a bit one note? And I was very pleased that it wasn't, because we do have some fun, light-hearted stories, but we also do have others that are not. So it was a decent selection, I would say. We have definitely read worse anthologies. I really appreciate encountering writers who are new to me, who I'll then kind of like go and check out their work. Because like Mags Holiday, I'd be interested, and also like Cody Shell. Yeah, the other authors as well that were new to me. It would be interesting. So yeah. How about you?
I had a fun time reading it. I mentioned this just a moment ago, but only one of the stories is written by a woman.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that Obverse Books has a better track record with some of the later anthologies of balancing that a little bit more, especially with a woman protagonist.
Yeah.
The book does end with a splash page promising that Iris will return, which of course she does. There's several anthologies out from Obverse, as well as her audios and such.
Yes.
Iris's world, I have written down, is very much that of the unreliable narrator, but that's okay. It fits this collection.
Yeah.
Some of the later Iris anthologies, much like some of the short trips books that were done by Big Finish, are centered around like a particular idea or theme.
Yeah.
Like Iris on Mars. Did you get a sense of any sort of theme or undercurrent emerging for you at any point with this collection?
No.
I didn't at all either. So in that sense, I was glad it was, I guess, an overview of things.
Her timeline, yeah.
But I can see why they would maybe focus it a little bit more in future volumes.
Yes.
I also would have liked a little bit more variety in the settings. A lot of this felt kind of contemporary, 2008, 2009. We had a few stories set in the 60s, the one in Russia, and the one at the end of the Earth, I suppose. But most of them, I think, were contemporary.
Well, you got your Battlestar Galactica and...
I guess there's as much variety as Eccleston had in his only season, I suppose.
Well, and also they're just wanting to just see how this lands as well, because it's the first anthology. is the character popular enough? I guess, maybe.
I also would have liked maybe some more illustrations from June Hudson, apart from the front and back covers. It would have been nice if maybe every story had a little illustration or something. That I think would have been fun.
I have a confession. I didn't like the cover. I know you thought it was brilliant. I just...
Oh.
Yeah, I just went, okay.
Okay.
So, yes. But yeah, I think some more illustrations would have gone down well. Yes.
So, how are you going to score this one?
How am I going to score this? I think I'm probably going to give this a 7. Yeah, a 7. I was toying between a 6 and a 7. So yeah, I mean it was good. It was fun. Like if I'm at a convention and I see an Irish anthology lying around, I will probably buy it on the strength of this. I was at a convention before we read this where there was an Irish anthology kicking around for sale. Yeah, because I know it would be fun. How about you?
For me, I had written down that I'm also going to give this a 7 out of 10.
Okay, cool.
I had a lot of fun reading it at the time, but was hoping for some more standout stories. I didn't come away with more than a handful of stories being really memorable.
Yeah.
But overall, it did leave me with kind of a warm, cozy, slightly buzzed feeling.
Yeah.
Much like Iris, I suspect. So yeah, I'm glad I read it, but could have been stronger in some parts, I think.
Yeah. I think also my enjoyment went up after I'd heard the Wormery. And so then I was having Katie Manning with her Liverpool accented version in my head.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is how this character is.
There's a story where Katie plays Iris meeting Joe Grant, which I really want to listen to.
Yes. Didn't we have that? Wasn't that called Verdigris? Well, actually, what was it? Anyway, yeah, okay, cool.
All right, shall we move on to listener feedback?
Yes, let's.
Okay, so we have 2 emails this month.
Ooh.
Chris, do you want to read the first one and I'll take the second one?
Yes.
One from Kenny Smith and one from Adam Turnbull. I'll start with the email from Adam. He writes, "Hey guys, just wondering if you would consider reading the comic with Peter Capaldi called The Clockwise War." Which I believe is a collection from Panini. He said there's some great stories featuring the 12th Doctor with a lot of references to older comics as well as Endgame in the Marvel films. So I don't know that we've picked a 12th Doctor story for our next run through, but always worth a consideration. Although I do have a 12th Doctor story in mind, but will very much depend on who picks what when.
Yes.
But thank you, Adam, for the suggestion. Yeah. And listeners, you can suggest stories that you'd like us to consider by emailing us at andwbcpodcast@gmail.com.
Cool. So we also received an email from Kenny Smith from Pieces of 8. He said, "Hi fellas, just a quick note to say thanks for the latest episode. He had the joy of listening to it as he was walking from the hotel for Gallifrey to find a Walmart to get some goodies to take back to Scotland. At that time in history, maybe tomatoes. But yes." And Kenny goes on to say that he had the joy of getting to chat with Matt at the convention, and it was a real honour to meet one of the voices behind this fab podcast in person.
It was great meeting you as well, Kenny, and
yes,
also from a fantastic podcast, Pieces of Eighth.
Yes, Pieces of Eighth is very much worth a listen. Kenny goes on to say that there was a good discussion on the EDAs at Galley, which I just wish had gone on longer. It's such a relief to see there's so many people finding joy in them when for years he thought it was just me.
And Kenny was the moderator of that panel, and he did a fantastic job of keeping it focused and on track.
Yes.
As one of the panelists kept bringing up some rather odd things, and he was able to steer it back to a...
more even keel, yeah.
More reasonable discussion.
Yeah.
And
he also shares brief thoughts on Base Planet Mars, which was that he read it at the time and loved it, as it was a fascinating take on Mars, which he wasn't expecting, with good banter between Benny and Jason, and, as he recalls, a fleeting appearance from the 4th Doctor, Romana and K9. So yes, indeed, they do appear briefly. And cheers as ever, Kenny. Lovely.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Cool. So we haven't had anything much on Facebook, but on Twitter, maybe we have.
Yeah, we've got a couple of notes. So Keith Say on Twitter, 50DW50 on Twitter, says of the book Beige Planet Mars that by the time it had come out in October of 98, he had given up on reading the Benny range at that point. Well, Phil Shaw, not Tim Shaw, on Twitter, calls Beige Planet Mars a classic.
Yeah.
And after listening to the episode, Keith wrote in again and said he thanked us for the podcast, that he enjoyed the Beige Planet Mars episode, and he's very much looking forward to our Iris podcast, and shared a picture of some of his Iris collection of books and audios, which very much dwarfed my own. So very nice, Keith.
Cool.
So I think that brings us, Chris, to our pick for next month.
Yes.
Where we have the option of doing one more wild card pick, or we can start the Doctor cycle once again.
Yes.
What have you got in store for us?
What have we got? Oh, Matt, it's an anniversary year.
It is.
You may have noticed. Yes. So I thought that I'd go for a book that celebrates an anniversary. But also as well, I kind of thought, I've been missing the Doctor. So let's bring Doctors back. So we're going to have a multiple Doctor story. We are going to be experiencing Supremacy of the Cybermen.
Which is a Titan comic, I think, right?
It's a Titan comic, yeah, by George Mann and Kevin Scott on writing duties, and features several Doctors.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. I'm excited, and that'll be a fun anniversary story, like you said, to tie into the 60th.
Yes. Well, and also it was marking the 50th anniversary of the Cybermen.
Okay, so it came out in 2016 then.
Yes. So
cool.
Yeah.
And by Kevin Scott, which we've read some of his work in the Iris anthology this month.
Yes.
And then George Mann, of course, who wrote our very first book we've read, Engines of War.
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic pick.
Cool.
Very much looking forward to that.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. So, yeah, there we go.
And that's for May.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you for picking a comic. That'll go down much smoother than the Iris book. I will say it did take me a while to work my way through it.
Yeah, me too.
And I think some of it had to do with how the typeset of the book was.
Yes.
It was just kind of challenging to read through it at times. Yeah. So very much looking forward to that.
Yeah. I was also tempted to do the Four Doctors, but that's by Paul Cornell. And it's not by Paul Cornell and somebody. It's just by Paul Cornell. And I thought, technically that would be our fourth Paul Cornell. So
I mean, I'm glad you went with this one because it's not as well known as the Four Doctors one too. So I already own it too. So
well, and also it's widely available on Amazon and such like.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So yes, I shall be downloading that shortly.
Excellent. Well, until next month, this has been Matt in Minnesota
and Chris in South London. Happy reading. Stay safe.
Thank you for listening to the all-new adventures of the Doctor Who Book Club podcast. Special thanks to George C. Music for use of their song Doctor Who Theme Swing Jazz Version. You can follow us on Twitter at ANDWBC Podcast and like us on Facebook. Help other listeners to find us by leaving a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice. You can contact the show by emailing your thoughts to andwbcpodcast@gmail.com. And until next month, happy reading.
Hey y'all, thanks for reaching out to me again. I'm very excited about this. I've practiced it a few times and just full disclosure, gosh, I don't know why, but some of these sentences are a mouthful. Apologies in advance if there's a few stop-goes in this one. And also, I'm just going to read everything here and then you can choose to cut it. I didn't know if you wanted it read, formatted like the email or not, so feel free to use what you will, but I'd rather just give you everything and then you can cut out what you don't want. Okay, here we go. Subject: This isn't Darlington, Toto. I didn't like how I said that. Subject: This isn't Darlington, Toto. As though the way he kept going all blocky and grainy looking wasn't a pretty big clue. I'm going to do that again. As though the way he kept going all blocky and... Oh no! I googled how to pronounce this word and I forgot. Please hold. Should have gone with my gut. I was right. Oh well, better to be safe than sorry. Sorry, now I sound like I'm laughing. I'm laughing at myself. Also, what else was I going to say? Oh my goodness. Oh no, there was something else. And now I know it. Oh, yeah. Just fun fact. I'm recording this from a laundry cupboard. Not quite an airing cupboard. There's no hot water system in here, but hey, just decided to get into character, you know, just like really zoned into Panda. What do you think? Panda is sassy. Panda is sassy, and it is hard to get those words out of your mouth at the speed of which he was thinking / writing them. Yeah. Okay. Bye.